My warm greetings to the Board of Directors of the World Cocoa Foundation, President, my good friend, Chris Kobe, and then all the membership of World Cocoa Foundation. My greetings again to all the stakeholders and then the various actors in the cocoa fraternity. If you see my attire today, that's in this black attire, it's, as a Ghanaian, it marks a very unusual time. The country is mourning the demise of the first president of our fourth republic, that is Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings. So the country is in agony because we've lost a state's man. It's also happening at a time when COVID is resurging, especially the second wave, as we are seeing in Europe, in America, and also in Africa here. Ghana is no exception. The human and economic fight against the virus is not yet over. And as 2020 draws to a close, let us remind ourselves as to how critical it is to prepare for the unknown ahead of us. The theme for the 2020 WCF Partnership meeting, now being held virtual, that is, scaling impact in disruptive times, is very apt. Central to this theme and the focus of attention is a smallholder cocoa farmer whose immeasurable contribution and that of his or her kind continue to sustain the cocoa value chain. Everybody along the supply chain is important and needed. But you all agree with me that if there's anybody to keep in mind in the cocoa landscape in these unusual times, then it is the smallholder cocoa farmer. Over the years, there has been consensus on the remunerating of our cocoa farmers who are the fulcrum of the supply chain, the least advantaged and the most vulnerable. This calls for a collective effort. Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire jointly came up with a living income differential of 400 United States dollars per ton as part of the means to improve the incomes of cocoa farmers in the two countries effective 2020-2021 crop season. Until then, cocoa farmers were receiving reliefs from various sustainability programs funded by the brand companies and the trade houses. Now, we have come to the realization that the sustainability programs, though important and necessary, were unable to impact forcefully and speedily on the smallholder farmers and the way they deal with child labor and deforestation. We must note that child labor in cocoa and the issues of deforestation are but symptoms of the remuneration of cocoa farmers. The LID has come to complement existing sustainability programs and to accelerate and reinforce the impact. Whereas sustainability programs are selective and impact on less than 10% of the cocoa farming population in the West African sub-region, for example, the impact of the LID for Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire is universal. Every cocoa farmer takes his or her share according to the volume or the size of his or her produce. In Berlin last year, the brands without exception openly announced their individual support and commitment to the LID. As of today, not all the brands have walked the talk. Our intelligence indicates that there is even a deliberate ploy and strategy by some brands to derail and collapse the LID. It must be sounded loud and clear that To collapse the LID is to collapse the brands first. And let me repeat, to collapse the LID is to collapse the brands first. Any brand, and for that matter, representative trade house that is seen not to be serious in accepting the LID by mid-December 2020 must consider all its cocoa beans from Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire being branded as conventional. We are prepared to name and shame these brands to the consuming public. Two major concerns that have gained currency and also heightened in recent times are child labor and then deforestation. We are very much aware of the steps being taken by the European Union and the United States. The issues at stake call for dialogue and due diligence. In Ghana, the needful is being done. Policies and interventions which have already started showing positive results have been put in place. We must be wary about how Western scholars and activists in the cocoa landscape see the two issues using only their familiar Western lenses. For example, the government of Ghana, 1.5 decades in the row, has introduced one capitation grant, which removed all taxes and fees related to the basic education and engendered enrollment of children from poor homes. 2, school feeding program, which allowed children to receive one good meal at school every day, which also has engendered unprecedented enrollment at the basic school level. 3, in the past 4 years, the government has introduced free senior high school, thus enabling over 800,000 students who ordinarily would not have had the opportunity to be in the senior high school. Ghana Cocoa Board and then the government, way back in 2003, introduced what is called the mass cocoa spraying, where Ghana Cocoa Board hires over 48,000 men, and here the emphasis is men and not children, every year to spray cocoa farms free of charge for our cocoa farmers. Today, we have introduced the dual-purpose motorized pruner cum slashing machine to replace the use of the machete or the cutlass and ease farm work on cocoa farms. In spite of all these policies and transformational interventions, if a study by an outside institution turns the page to declare that child labor in Ghana is rather in the ascendancy, we can only take this with a pinch of salt. This is the more reason why those of us in Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire are calling for more dialogue and more due diligence into these matters of importance. With the diplomatic experience and expertise of the likes of Ms. Kobe, President of the World Cocoa Foundation, I strongly believe that we should be able to address the issues of deforestation and child labor in cocoa. To conclude, COVID has seriously and adversely impacted on the cocoa market. As stakeholders and players in the supply chain, it is important that we step up our efforts and commitment to sustain the value chain. I call for absolute cooperation in this collective effort. Thank you.